Uh, Dear Fahredin, would you kindly say a few things about yourself? For example, to make it easy, when did your love for poetry start, and how did it, how did you become a poet?
It's a long journey. Thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me. It is my pleasure to give my tiny contribution to your excellent project, because this must to be viral. I think because we all need, the humanity needs these kind of projects. The history of how I became a poet is a long journey, and I perceive it as a kind of intellectual or artistic development, which took me over 30 years. 19 years I was trained to study medicine, to go to Zagreb in Croatia, but then the war started there and I came back. I enrolled in a philology faculty Oriental department in Pristina University back in 90s. And after after I discovering the Oriental culture, which was mainly influenced by the magazines I was receiving on the monthly basis, the Eastern culture, which will be public in Belgrade in Serbia at that time. So I got to know many things through my readings, of course, because I couldn't travel that time. Many things about Japanese, Chinese, Indian culture, and in particular, the Turkish culture and Persian classics, which have still great influence in my work, because I'm trying to, in my poetry, to merge the scientific and spiritual development for the betterment of mankind.
Wonderful.
So, in the last 30 years, I've been developing a peculiar style, I think. First, in the beginning, I thought it will be a transcendental poetry, but in the last 10 years, it's more of a quantum physics nature. So I perceive humanity as a one body, which is composed of protons. So we have to share this sun, we have to share this water, we have to share this air. So
Mm,
everything belongs to us, and all of us have a role to protect this environment and this planet, because we have no other alternative.
exactly, exactly.
So this is the way I started to develop into the last 10 years. More, not so to say, uh, a kind of transcendental and spiritual, but this all is getting another shape of scientific research and developments, and a scientific invention that all should contribute to the betterment of all the mankind. So my poetry in the last 10 years is more directed to human being, to the planet, to the plants, to the environment, rather than to personal inner development or human individualization, as Carl Gustav Jung and the Serbian academic Vladeta Jerotić used to emphasize that.
Mm. Yes, very interesting, and we are on the same page, as they say in English. I agree with your approach, and for me, um, uh, um, I prefer not to divide life into a sacred side and a daily material side. To me, daily thing, life itself is sacred. Human
Exactly,
relations are sacred.
exactly,
And for me, material and spiritual are one and the same thing. It, and so this combination of body and soul togetherness, and to me, is very important. And uh, I'm happy to hear your summary. And as for the Earth Civilization Project, there are a lot of ideas regarding to this. It is not a new idea. There's a book towards an ecological civilization, or there is a planetary towards a planetary civilization. What I try to do is simply put the name of our planet Earth's civilization, focusing on the importance of our good old planet, our home, and and uh, and then after years and years, decades of thinking, researching, listening, discussing, I try to arrive at very basic, simple things that we can, no matter what our worldview is, or various religions, ideologies, whatever. What can be the very essential, basic notions that we cannot deny, that we can say, yes, well, this is it. I think one is, I too am on this planet. I too am responsible. So this is as simple as I can make it. I mean, uh, I, I, I think these are reasonable and simple and basic enough. And then each of us can do something. And then we are, of course, part of a dynamic whole, semi-chaotic. And so we also need to cooperate. And and another thing is that this should be an ethical movement, I think, instead of an official organization. And um, because if it is good, if ideas are good for humanity, then why are we afraid? They will spread more easily than we think. And so I consider myself an Earth civilization volunteer. There is no center, there is no hierarchy, and there is no financial problem. A friend of mine 8 years ago said, well, we need a lot of money to start with. I said, no, please.
No.
When you bring in money, we'll collapse.
Spoil everything.
Yes, yes. So, um, and I've been trying to think of ideas that are very easy or without any financial stuff, but which can be functional. For example, I have selected names from various cultures. I have selected a name from Kurdish culture, a name from Armenian culture, a name from Greek culture, from Chinese culture. And uh, because when I have, this can be done, for example, each person in the world could choose names from other cultures, especially with histories of so-called with hostility in the background, etc. Very simple ideas, but basic, and then
very important.
Yeah. So when I mentioned this to a Lebanese Armenian social democrat politician, he said, I like this idea. Today I'm going to choose a Turkish name and a Kurdish name. And a lady came and said, I'm married to an Armenian gentleman, but I never thought of getting an Armenian name for myself. I'll do that, etc. So such a simple idea, but it can help us for better interaction and better thinking. So that's all in a nutshell. Now, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. These are very important. We made it complex. It's really, as you just said, it's very simple and segmentary ideas that everyone can take and implement in the grassroots scale, and then to emerge in the global scale. As for me, if any politician asks me ever, I'm telling them that all the humanity needs in global scale is value-based leadership, the leadership that based is in the moral value, which triggers within itself the responsibility and self-responsibility, self-respect, which have to be spread. But this is also have to have an impact from the grassroots scale, starting from the education, and this doesn't cost any penny, any money, because every one of us can teach in schools, in universities, without even getting paid in our break times. I mean, if we deliver classes while we drink coffee or smoke cigarettes, who smoke that, we can discuss these small ideas and create a global awareness of the importance of protecting our environment, because until Elon Musk is making Mars habitable for us, we have no other alternative. We have to protect this because we have no other spare planet, so we can go and leave this behind. But why to create another one if we can protect this? I mean, this is for me more ethical and moral content. We all have to be aware.
Yes.
I think your project is excellent one, and this can be perhaps in the beginning to start with some leaflets to deliver to the classes and universities, and people in their spare time they can discuss and say, oh, stop, come on, why I'm doing this, which is not good for me, and if it's not good for me, I'm sure it will not be good for our neighbors, and etc., etc., in a global scale. And your point about the names, we are very frequently confused with the appearance or manifestation of name, but not focusing on its content. I believe in a society which will lead us to value-based leadership and unity in diversity, because a bouquet of flowers is more beautiful if you have there a jasmine, a rose, or hyacinth in that, or rather than to have a monolithic kind of one kind of roses, or one kind of plants, or one kind of jasmines. So humanity is a beautiful bouquet, like just like a glass of wine. You cannot drink wine if you don't have that umami of taste, the complexity of different tastes in one context. And for me, perceiving humanity as one kind of human fraternity, which is not destroying but building something out of our intellectual and scientific achievements.
True, true, true. And 9 years ago, I was invited to Bosnia Herzegovina and for a creative writing seminar, and there were high school students before me, Bosnian, Serbian, and Croatian students, and it was not an easy thing for me to start the presentation. So I said, some apples say there should be no other fruit in the world, only apples, down with other kinds of fruit. These are racist apples. Some apples say, all right, I'm an apple, but let there be bananas, oranges, etc. too. These are democratic apples. And some apples say, I didn't choose to be an apple. I want to be a fruit salad. And I said, I want to become.
Oh, marvelous.
I said, I want to become a fruit salad. And of course, we do not choose our origin. And by the time we ask questions, we already have been formatted in a way. Okay, but but then from that point on, if we can be honest to ourselves and to others, as you said, with self-respect, we can improve ourselves endlessly. And when I was, well, some 50 years ago, when I imagined a human society beyond borders, beyond nations, etc., I was in a way too non-realistic, unrealistic in one sense. It's good to keep our idealism, but I thought the conditions, the historic cultural conditions, were not so influential. We could just decide to do something and do it. But at this age, 50 years later, I accept that it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to change so many things. It's not, but thanks to technology, it is much easier today to be open to the whole world, to other beings. And here comes the importance of literature and especially poetry, because I mean, in many countries under oppressive regimes, they don't usually put novelists in prison. They put poets in prison, and that has a significance in it, because poets can grasp and express something vital in a few words. Now, that is very dangerous, because you cannot memorize a novel, but you can memorize a line or two, and that can help you. So poets are dangerous. And I also said this to those youngsters. I said, don't be afraid. I mean, don't be,
I'm a poet.
yes.
Don't be afraid, I'm just a poet.
No. I said, let's not be angry at oppressive governments. It's their duty.
To
They're,
fear us.
they are right to put us in prison. Let's not be angry with them. But
This is a kind of bizarre environment that we are living, because people have developed their matrices, their certain patterns, and they are always targeting poets as endangered creatures. So we are those who are spoiling their agendas.
of course, cleverer governments simply don't mention poets at all. Instead of putting us in prison and making us famous, just clever governments ignore poets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, but so uh, we can get together from time to time, and I think the UNESCO calendar is helpful. For example, the Day Against Racism, World Poetry Day, World Earth Day, or the 10th of November, the use of science and technology for peace, or the third Thursday of November, World Philosophy Day, the 10th of December, uh, Declaration of Human Rights, etc. These days give us good opportunities for doing little get-togethers and exchanging ideas, etc. And the 17 goals of UNESCO, I find them very good, concrete, and they can be very helpful. I mean, the United Nations is a platform for governments. 50 years ago, I severely criticized the United Nations. Today, I say it's better than nothing, but we need to
Yeah.
help the United Nations to improve itself. I mean, we can push a little bit, we can contribute more as world citizens. And I enjoy saying, dear Earthmates. Whenever I say, in Turkish, I say dünyadaş.
Dünyada.
Yes, dünyadaş. Dear
Great.
dünyadaşlar, dear Earthmates. A few ideas, and in daily life, I want to say, for example, instead of thank God, I prefer to say thank Earth, thank nature. Uh, and, but daily speech is important, and I think we can do, and it is important not to exclude any religion or anything, but to be inclusive.
Yes.
I trust that all religions have some humanitarian aspect in them.
In terms, sorry.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, dear
In terms
Fahredin.
of what you just of what you previously said, that now we have more opportunities to diffuse our work thanks to technical and technological advancement, because we have internet, we can communicate via Zoom, for instance. Even despite the COVID or isolation we have in terms of getting visa or free travel, the whole idea for me was to establish a festival because I'm not an organization. I'm just an individual that want to have an impact on the global scale through poetry. And I invited poets in a very small country, particularly to have an impact and getting people together, because I have poets from Cyprus, poets from Turkey, poets from Serbia, poets from Albania, which in normal life, they, as a nations, we didn't cope. But with the poets, we had a strange synergy, and we can, when we go back to our countries, we can speak, we can write about the common human values and our responsibilities to build this kind of bridges. And the idea, as you said, and now we have more opportunity to speak up, is that thanks to internet our word can go. For instance, my poetry is published disregard of geographical distance. It's in India, in Japan, in China, in Turkey, in America. I'm collaborating in the United States with Inner Child Press for 12 years now, so I don't have that problem. But the point is that we have to be more vocative, and I really adore what you said, that we have to create a greeting, hello earthmates, because nothing is more sacred than the earth. I mean, it is a part of the universe, and for me, the universe it's God itself. Disregard of which connotation my words takes, either sacral or profane. I mean, it's the same and one and the same thing. So we have to be more vocative, to speak about Earth, to write about, to paint about Earth, and to communicate with people freely. Because in let's say 10 years, artificial intelligence can write a scientific article, but not poetry, and do inspired painting. So that is why I think not only politicians, but artificial intelligence will fear poets and painters in the next 30 years. Yes.
Wonderful. Yes, yes.
Because we are doing something they cannot.
That's right. That's right. Yes. And when I look at the days, of course, each day we are reborn and each day is important. The 22nd of April, Earth Day, is the most important day for humanity, I think, or biosphere. And this year, on the 21st of April, with some friends, we celebrated as Earth Day Eve, just as Christians celebrate Christmas and Christmas Eve. How about celebrating Earth Day, starting with Earth Day Eve? And,
Great.
So daily life should have little by little things that are open. My computer, my lack of technical skill limits these conversations to less than 30 minutes, so that we can place this comfortably on YouTube. For now, what else would you like to say before we close for the moment?
There are many things to be said, because humanity lacks many things. I'm not looking toward the billionaires who are trying. They are stealing from the population, and then they are a kind of benefactory to give a humanitarian and marking themselves as altruists. I really, I really don't burn myself into that. I mean, I don't care if I give, if I plant a sapling of a beautiful flower or a beautiful tree. I don't want to see my name posted on that plant, because I'm doing this for myself, because it's bringing me back the oxygen. I don't care if somebody said, okay, Mr. Shehu is a good poet and he did this and that, he made the festival and he made this good to to the artistic community. Who cares who is artistic community? Every human being has a potential to develop its awareness and to live in here and now, in the plethora of the goodness this universe offers to all of us. I mean, scientists are complaining that we are losing our resources. No, we are not. There is a plenty of space for everyone. Diminish the borders, let people work, let people create. End of story. We will live in harmony. I
Yes,
love this plethora of so many things the nature is offering us, and we are not utilizing that in the ethical way. This
hmm
is the key of our global problem.
hmm
And
thank you so much.
yeah, this is the thing I wanted to emphasize. How to say more succinctly, because there is a place for all. Sun will burn in the future. Let's say in 4 or more billion
Billion years.
years. I mean, and without the sun and without the water, what we can do? I mean, we extinct ourselves.
True, true. Thank you, dear Fahredin Shehu. It's always great to communicate with you. And we are together. That's I also enjoy
You
saying we are together
too.
when uh,
Earthmates,
yes, we are earthmates and we are together.
Earthmates.
Yes.
It was my
So
pleasure.
yes. So uh, we are together earthmates with Fahrettin
Yes.
Shehu and other friends. Uh, take care. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.